Good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. First, the headlines. During the meeting of the Council of Ministers, His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq directs to establish a support and decision-making unit and indicates to establish an independent unit to measure the government institutions' performance. Starting from the coming year 2022, His Majesty the Sultan directs to promote eligible government employees affiliated to the civil service and other civil systems of 2011. His Majesty directs to set the price of vehicle fuels according to October 2021, and the government will bear the difference resulting from any increase of oil prices until the end of 2022. And His Majesty the Sultan directs to cancel a pack of fees related to activities of some sectors and reducing some of them. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq presided over the meeting of the Council of Ministers at the premises of the Council of Ministers in Muscat. His Majesty the Sultan thanked Almighty Allah for the blessings and bounties bestowed upon this dear country and its noble citizens, praying to Allah to protect Oman, its citizens and residents, and constantly maintain good health and well-being. His Majesty reviewed the domestic situations as he affirmed the importance of collective efforts of the state institutions in accelerating development of government services and continuing implementation of e-transformation initiatives, as well as providing comprehensive solutions for challenges besides harnessing available energy and resources to keep up with the current and future situations and to enhance communication and interaction with the society and its aspirations. His Majesty the Sultan also reviewed the results of the government institution performance evaluation of the year 2020-2021 and the efforts exerted by all sectors for qualitative performance and providing better services to keep up with the developments and fulfill the public interest, indicating that an independent unit shall be established under the royal supervision of His Majesty to measure the government institutions' performance and guarantee the continuation of evaluation mechanisms and suggestions to uplift the efficiency besides measuring the service quality and the beneficiaries' satisfactions. His Majesty also directed to establish a support and decision-making unit affiliated to the Secretariat General of the Council of Ministers to boost the performance level through enhancing the efficiency of decision-making. Within the royal attention of His Majesty, the employees of the state administrative apparatus has urged them to exert more efforts to boost the performance efficiency in the next phase. His Majesty the Sultan directed to promote the eligible government employees affiliated to the civil service and other civil systems of 2011, starting from the coming year 2022. In continuation of the government's attention given to social and economic aspects and was being provided by the country from services and support to the citizens, His Majesty directed to fix the price of vehicle fuels according to the average of October 2021 as maximum, so that the government will bear the difference resulting from any increase of oil prices until the end of 2022 to motivate the national economy and activate the investment environment in general. And His Majesty also directed to cancel a pack of fees related to activities of some sectors and reducing some of them. At the end of the meeting, His Majesty the Sultan discussed a number of aspects of concern to the country and citizens and issued his royal directives in this regard, wishing all continuous success for the goodness and progress of this dear country and its loyal citizens. Aspects related to the security work among the GCC countries were discussed by His Excellency Said Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, when he received today His Excellency Dr. Naif Falah Al Hajraf, Secretary General of the GCC countries. During the meeting, they further reviewed the topics listed in the agenda of the GCC Interior Ministers meeting due to be held in the coming period, in addition to the continuous efforts exerted by the Secretary General in boosting the joint Gulf work in order to upgrade their cooperation and strengthening the existing brotherhood bonds. A number of issues related to work among the GCC countries were discussed by His Excellency Said Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, the Foreign Minister, when he received today His Excellency Dr. Naif Falah Al Hajraf, Secretary General of the GCC countries, and His Excellency Abdurrahman Ahmed Al Harbi, General Coordinator of Negotiations and Head of the Negotiating Team of the Cooperation Council. During the interview, they also reviewed ways of enhancing cooperation and relations, development with the friendly countries, federations, and the regional and international organizations in the economic and commercial fields. His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al Mauli, Chairman of the Shura Council, received today Dr. Naif Falah Al Hajraf, Secretary General of the GCC countries. During the meeting, His Excellency Dr. Al Hajraf praised the efforts taken by the Secretariat General of GCC countries to enhance the cooperation between the Gulf countries and to overcome challenges and achieve integration in the different fields for the benefit of the Gulf citizens. His Excellency also praised the Sultan's efforts in supporting the unity of the Gulf countries and councils and in dealing with regional causes wisely and reasonably. He also praised the Sultan's stance towards Arab causes and the approach it follows their dealing with various causes, promoting a culture dialogue. His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al Mauli, Chairman of the Shura Council, received Her Excellency Dr. Bahija Simoui, Director of the Moroccan Royal Archives. During the meeting, the two sides discussed aspects of existing cooperation between the two friendly countries and acquainting with the Council experience in the management of documents, in addition to preparing and implementing a system for the management of joint documents and places for saving intermediate documents. Shura Council Office discussed today a request for briefing on the increase of insurance cost for factories and refineries affiliated to Oman Investment Authority. The meeting also reviewed ministerial responses on Omanization percentage in the contracting and with the government oil and gas companies and non-Omani manpower for selling in the shopping malls. The meeting also discussed a delay in printing study curricula. The meeting approved two requests for briefings and bringing investments in light of international competitiveness and providing education for children with autism spectrum disorders. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al Mauli, Chairman of the Shura Council. Works of the 20th annual meeting of the International Society for Pharmacovigilance, hosted by the Sultanate of Oman and represented by the Ministry of Health, continue today for the second consecutive day with a wide international participation via video communication. The meeting seeks to find out the latest developments related to the adverse effects of medicines and to find the necessary solutions. The meeting is held under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Ahmed Al-Saidi, Minister of Health. Our reporter, Mr. Abdullah Rubai, is present there at the meeting venue in Muscat to update our viewers about this international event. Abdullah, could you please update us on how important is this meeting and what topics have been discussed today?
A very good evening to you, Suhail, and to all of our viewers of the Sultanate of Oman television. In fact, I'm here right now at this particular conference, which has been held here for the first time in the Middle East. This international conference, which is very important, it provides an open platform for healthcare professionals from many countries around the world with different expertise and set of skills in medicines, where they discuss and exchange information related to safe and effective use of medicine. Among areas that they have discussed today, the use of medication, vaccine in women, and antibiotic resistance, the national vigilance system, and of course the environmental contamination. Right now with me here is, of course, Dr. Thamir Shammari, and he's actually the president of ISOP Middle East, who will tell us more about the discussions held today and its significance. I will invite him right now, and he will just give us the details. Dr. Shammari, welcome to the Sultanate of Oman television. Of course, today is the second day of this particular conference. What are the most important things that have been discussed here today, and what are the significance of that?
First of all, thank you so much for this invitation. I'm really happy to be with you tonight. And today, as continuous to the yesterday talk, the importance of the pharmacovigilance. Today, we started to talk about very important topics, starting with the women's health and the importance of the medication and vaccines in the women's health, especially in the current situation. We talk about the COVID-19. There was a lot of discussion, especially in the methodology of assessing the risk. We want to make sure if the risk is really associated with the either medication or the vaccine. And since we are talking about COVID-19, you know, a lot of fear about the safety of this vaccine. And today, we actually, especially when we talk about the pregnancy and the women and themselves, with all this methodology, different expertise, we discussed that. We found all these vaccines for COVID-19 are really safe and effective. And this is really important that everyone to get the vaccine. This will really prevent a lot of mortality. And yes, there are a lot of discussion about this, and this is from everywhere worldwide.
Now, Dr. Thamir, again, if you can tell us the stand of pharmacovigilance in our region here, in the Middle East in particular.
Oh yeah, this is very important. And this is really one of the reasons that for the first time, this ISOP annual Middle East, this international conference, it's happening like usually in Europe, in North America, and this is first time we have it here in the Middle East and here in Oman. And the most important, because we want to know where is our stand, where our situation. Actually, when we talk about the Middle East is a really big region. We have a little bit of variation. We have some countries, especially when we talk about the GCC, including Oman, Saudi Arabia. We really have a good pharmacovigilance system. But when we look at other countries, some of them they have like medium pharmacovigilance system. Some of them, unfortunately, they even don't have the system. So this is what the really important of this to have it here, and also to support these countries. They really need to have a good pharmacovigilance system, because at the end this will affect our patients and the safety of our patients.
Indeed. Suhail, as you can see right now, we are in the middle of discussions here. Though you don't see many people actually around here, they are all from different parts of the world, from all the continents across the world actually, discussing with full of expertise in medicines, and they talk about the safety of all medicine actually, not only the vaccine, all different type of drugs. Now I asked Dr. Shamari to tell us the level of the safety of medicine actually in our country, and he was quite happy to say that here in the Gulf country and as well as in many parts of the Middle East, we are quite in par with the developed countries. Would you like to add anything on that?
Yes, this is very important. Now, in my behalf, because this is like online and also very on site, we have different people from Latin America now, North America, because it's almost noon their time. We have people from Indonesia, we have even people from New Zealand, which is almost at dawn time there. It's really important that especially let's talk about our region and the importance of that, the advancement of the usage of the medication. We are unique. We have a lot of herbals in addition to medication and vaccine, and there is a lot of need to invest in this, and actually this is what's really happening now. As I mentioned before, we have variation, we have good advanced system like in the GCC, and hopefully we'll also support other countries in the Middle East.
Dr. Thamer, thank you very much. We do appreciate your brief on this very important conference which is undergoing here for the first time in the Sultanate of Oman.
Thanks.
We appreciate and we wish you all the best.
Can I say one point?
Yeah, please.
I would like to congratulate the Sultan of Oman. I know it's 18 November, will be the National Day. I'm really happy. I'm part of Oman. I consider myself Saudi and Oman same. So congratulations to all the leaders, Sultan Haytham, and all the leaders and all the Omani people. I always really love to come to Oman. This is my almost 6th or 7th time in Oman. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Suhail, there.
Indeed, well, important meeting, and thank you all, and wishing you all the best. That was our reporter, Abdullah Rubai there, who was updating us about the 20th annual meeting of the International Society for Pharmacovigilance. The Military Technological College organized the Oman's International Conference on Water Engineering and Management of Water Resources with more than 200 participants from various world countries. The conference included a number of research papers and scientific discussions. It aimed to find technological solutions to the problems related to water resources in accordance with the latest researches to ensure a sustainability of water resources in the Sultanate of Oman. In the conclusion of the event, Air Vice Marshal Khamis bin Hamad Al-Ghafri, Commander of Royal Air Force of Oman, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Military Technological College, toured the accompanying exhibition that included students' projects and engineering innovations, in addition to highlighting the private sector companies concerned with water resources. Still to come, a news bulletin. A small Swiss company has engineered direct air capture technology to filter CO2 from the air.
ننساه كالأشهر جيوشا إلى الصعب فالأصعب فنحن جنود بطاح الوغى تدين لنا منذ عهد النبي.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The activities of the first annual GCC Entrepreneurs Forum 2021 were concluded today. The forum was inaugurated under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid Kamil bin Fahd Al Saeed, Assistant Secretary General of the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister for the Council of Ministers for Cabinet Affairs. More details in the following report.
Future prospects for entrepreneurship, financing small and medium enterprises, and future investment opportunities for entrepreneurs topped the highlighted themes in the first edition of the annual Gulf Entrepreneurs Forum 2021. The forum, which was organized by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority in cooperation with the Secretariat General of the GCC states, came to an end. The three-day event incorporated several workshops, business meetings, and discussion sessions to develop cooperation mechanisms between the participating parties and to overcome the challenges facing the growth of the entrepreneurship sector. The activities of the forum included the Riyadh Talk contest, in which 12 Gulf entrepreneurs presented their projects in front of a jury to win a financial grant.
Riyadh Talk is a competition to pitch the business model by GCC entrepreneurs to a panel of jury to convince them to receive a financial grant, which is around 60,000 Riyal Omani.
It's a pleasure coming to Sultanate Oman, and it was really a pleasure also winning for the in first place. It means a lot for us, growing for the other company, maybe a chance of investing in another locations in the Gulf. It will be great for us after this winning. Inshallah, we are planning to open inshallah new franchises in the GCCs.
On the sidelines of the forum, the Gulf Franchise Exhibition was held. 60 GCC franchising companies participated in the fair, showcasing their identities to exchange expertise, thus contributing to the growth of the Gulf economy. Gaining valuable best practices from the forum, the GCC entrepreneurs will seize opportunities to expand their businesses, invest and excel locally and internationally. Salih Bakhalfan Al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
And a small Swiss company has engineered direct air capture technology to filter CO2 from the air. More details in the following report.
In the hills of Switzerland, a series of fans attached to metal structures that look like an industrial, oversized Lego project are spinning. Their mission is to help scrub the atmosphere by sucking carbon dioxide out of the air. It's a prototype by ClimateWorks, a small Swiss company that has engineered direct air capture technology. The concept was long considered unrealistic, even though the system sounds simple. CO2 in the air is filtered. Once saturated, the filters are then heated up and the CO2 is collected in a highly concentrated form and stored. The challenge, however, is the cost. Estimates vary, but it currently costs about $500 to $600 per ton to remove carbon dioxide using direct air capture. That's a far cry from the $70 per ton cost of carbon in the European Union emissions trading system, the most developed ETS system in the world.
At COP26, we want to see the regulators to agree on a worldwide price on carbon, which is high enough to make technologies like direct air capture commercially viable in the future.
But agreeing on a global market for carbon has been a major hurdle for the world's climate negotiators for years.
If the carbon emission is not more expensive, and the other way around, if the renewable use is not less expensive, you can imagine what is the real difficulty.
Leading scientific agencies, including the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, say that even if we change our behavior so dramatically that we're no longer producing harmful emissions, that still won't be enough to avert a climate catastrophe.
So I think that looking at technical solutions and things like direct air capture and so on is important, and we need to get down the cost curve for that. However, carbon dioxide removal and greenhouse removal is not just about those engineered solutions, and there are opportunities right now to use nature-based solutions in ways that actually create livelihoods and jobs in places that desperately need them, and that could actually make a huge difference in our overall climate trajectory.
Some actors in the climate field say expensive technological innovation, while important, should not distract from the sustainable low-tech solutions already available.
This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. During the meeting of the Council of Ministers, His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq directs to establish a support and decision-making unit and indicate to establish an independent unit to measure the government institutions' performance. Starting from the coming year 2022, His Majesty the Sultan directs to promote eligible government employees affiliated to the civil service and other civil system of 2011. His Majesty directs to set up a fixed price of vehicle fuels effective from October 2021, and the government will bear the difference resulting from any increase of oil prices until the end of 2022. And His Majesty the Sultan directs to cancel a pack of fees related to activities of some sectors and reducing some of them. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from Al Wasir Newsroom and studios. Thank you for your time. Good night.